Just talk about getting that Mark Wahlberg cosign because that's huge at 17.
Yeah.
How did that feel? What was your reaction?
It was crazy. I had this video when I was 17 that it was just my first video to really like go viral, like go like just like completely extend on past what I had going on. Because I remember when at this stage I would get like I had some fans, so at this stage I would get like 6,000 views in a day. That was like my best. And I was in high school. I was a junior, and I was in math class, and I was like, oh, I didn't check the views yet. And I look at the views, and it was 106,000 or like 107,000. And I literally think I'm seeing shit. I'm literally like first period class, just going crazy. And then every period it was like more and more. And then different celebrities reached out. It was actually, oh my God, forgot this. It was actually Fred Durst.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Fred Durst who had emailed me. And no, I love you, Fred. No disrespect, but like I didn't know Limp Bizkit. I only knew because Eminem had dissed them.
Oh my
so I'm
God.
like, who the fuck is Fred Durst again? No disrespect to Fred. Like, I love you, Fred. But it was before my time. So I just knew that Eminem lyric, like, sit down in the car, Fred Durst. And then I hit my older homie, who's Fred Durst? And he's like, who's Fred Durst? And I did my research, hit him back. He sent it to Mark. And then Mark, because he had a relationship with Mark, and he's like, bro, this kid's from Mass. And then Mark called me, got my number from Fred.
I was going to say, how'd he get your number?
He got my number from Fred. I didn't pick up the phone because I wasn't really like, I don't know, I didn't, it was a random number. And I'm horrible at answering voicemails. So a week later, I probably told this story before, but a week later, I'm a junior in high school. I answer my voicemail, and it's, literally, this is the voice. I wish I still had it. It was, hey, this is Mark Wahlberg. I'm looking for a token. Don't give my number to nobody. And that was it. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, there's no way this is actually him. But then I remember Fred said something about Mark. So I'm thinking like, this is a week later after Mark Wahlberg calls me. So I'm saying Mark probably thinks I'm some fucking piece of shit who thinks I don't even have to call back Mark Wahlberg. So I'm like, I've ruined this opportunity. I call him back, didn't pick up. I'm like, fuck. But I leave a voicemail, and I'm like, I'm token. And then he called me right back, and we had like a long ass conversation. He wanted to hear about, he wanted for real, like be involved. Like he really wanted to help me out and be involved. And he's just been supporting me ever since. Like at that stage, like I made a lot of decisions where I just knew I worked hard. So that's why a lot of these things like happened early for me, but I wasn't ready for some of them. Like I knew some of the stuff Mark was offering and just labels and stuff. I knew in my gut I was not ready for it. I didn't feel like I belonged like I do now. You know, I was right. Like me thinking back. So I'm getting like, we want to do this. We should do this from everybody. And I'm just like, I just feel like I got to keep building my fan base and keep getting better. And thank God I did, because if I like blew up crazy there, like if I was like a real big artist, I would have just been, you know, the world would have been introduced to like this lyrical spaz rap kid, and then he would have got old and it wouldn't have been cool anymore. But now I feel like my career has been like steady, where I've like really grown into it.
Right. I love that. Just real quick, I know Mark started inviting you over to his house. Do you have any stories? Just fondest memories? Because the house is in LA, right?
Yeah, his house is stupid. Like, it's one of those like, what the? I was just so nervous, like meeting Mark was like the first person I met where it was like, oh, you're one of these humans. Like, like just seeing him in person was crazy. No, we just like connected, and he definitely like changed. He was a big part of showing me that no matter how successful you are, you can still grind, because like I'd meet up with him. We'd like meet up at like 10 a.m. and he'd already done like 7 things. He'd already been like done this meetings and I'm like, dude, this rich ass dude is still like going crazy, like waking up early, going hard. That showed me that like you can never get comfortable. But as far as crazy stories, shit, I mean, he got me in Patriots Day, that movie. Yeah, he was like, he was seriously like, you ever acted? And I did act. Like I mean, I was acting my music videos, but I went to like acting camp and stuff. Like I loved acting. So he set me up with an audition for that role in that movie in Patriots Day, and I got it. Man, like he brought me to he had this movie with Will Ferrell, Daddy's Home, and he invited me to the premiere. So I went with my manager, and we're at the premiere, and I don't see Mark. I don't even know if Mark was there, but I know everybody was there for Mark. But he's texting me like, "Yo, are you here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm here." And now I remember there was an after party, and this was like a super crazy moment because everybody, I was bummy, like I didn't know how to dress, like I was like, I was probably wearing like black Air Forces, like I was like, didn't know, I was still getting my cuts from like super cuts, like I didn't know shit about, I was like kid straight out of high school, and I was at this after party, completely stood out, like everybody was like super nicely dressed, and everybody's like there for Mark, but Mark wasn't there. And then he texted me and he was like, "Where are you at?" And I was like, "I'm at the after party." He's like, "Fuck the after party, come to my hotel." And then we just left, and then we were in his room just kicking it. And that was a moment for me too, to be like, all these like fancy looking people that look like they belong there, but they're just hoping to see Mark. Meanwhile, I'm the bummy one, and he's texting me like, "Fuck the after party, come to my room." So yeah, that was super fire. That was just like showing me that like, it helped me think I'm like meant to be here. Like I'm here for a reason. Yeah, that was definitely, that's one of the
beautiful
moments.
I mean, how was the Patriots Day experience? Because film is like a whole nother world. They definitely take care of you on set.
Yeah. Doing the Patriots Day movie was crazy. It was so inspiring. I'm like a director too. Like I direct all my videos, so it was inspiring in that sense of like, just watching like how big of a like production this is. But the coolest thing was that, again, like I was nervous going in there. I was like the new face. I walked in there, and it wasn't like I was really known as a rapper. Like it was early. I walked in there, everybody knew who I was. Everybody was like, "Mark does not stop talking about you." And it just made me feel like, remember, bro, you're supposed to be here. Like, and it took me a long time to feel that way. Like now is the first time I feel like I've like settled into I'm supposed to be here. But it was, he was telling everybody on set, the director, about my career, and it was sick. Like I love acting. Like I want to get back into it when music isn't so, or when I just feel like I can afford the extra time to do acting. But it was fun. It was inspiring.
Definitely. And I know you performed a free hip hop show presented by Wahlberg in May 2016. It was filmed for his reality show Wahlburgers.
Yeah. Damn. You're doing good. Yeah.
Were you nervous? Like that's a big deal.
Yeah. Well, there were 2 things for Wahlburgers. See, this is like, picture me back then. I was so grateful for him supporting me, but the reason why I didn't like stay by his side is because like I wasn't trying to be introduced to the world as his artist, because I wanted to be my own person, so like he was bringing a lot of these things, and I never wanted to feel like I was asking for shit. Like I just didn't want it to feel like that. Like I knew that wasn't what was meant to happen. But yeah, that forgot about that. Yeah, he did he set up like a show for Wahlburgers, like their reality show, and I performed on that. It was like a small audience, but it was cool. I met a lot of people, and then he was at that point he was still filming Patriots Day, so I pulled up on him. I remember after that we pulled up on him and somewhere in Massachusetts, and they had a whole street shut down because they were doing the scene from a movie, and I showed up with my mom and my sister, and like there's crazy amounts of fans like just watching them outside, and I'm like, damn, like I don't even know where to go right now because he told me to pull up, and he texts me like, just come in, and he stops the set to like meet my mom. He like gets out of the car and like hugs my mom and shit, like literally stops the set to have me like, and then have me in like the director's room or whatever. That was the same day as that performance, and then the Wahlburgers thing. I just did an episode for Wahlburgers. I don't even really remember it, but it was with Drama. It was with his homie, and I was like helping him like make a song. It was just like some reality TV show shit.
Lit.
Yeah.
You mentioned like not wanting to be like labeled as his artist, but it was more so like I feel like he reached out to you and it was like so organic. Did you actually like separate yourself from him? Was it
No. Me and Mark are still cool, and every time I'm in LA, I see him. It wasn't I'm just blessed that he, just wanted to help out as much as he could. No separation. I just like at that point, again, like everything felt bigger than me, so I was trying to think long term, and I was like, I don't want to be. I know I'm not. I know I don't feel comfortable here yet. Like today is the first time. Like now I started to feel comfortable, but I wasn't really comfortable back then. So I just didn't want shit to blow up, which sounds crazy. Like most artists like probably want to blow up, but I just like I was scared to be a huge artist because I just felt like it wasn't gonna last long because I wasn't like personally ready. Yeah, because if I was like, this is the moment, I would have been like, Mark, like, let's go to Ellen, let's like do these things, let's meet with let's do everything. But it wasn't that deep. Like I was just happy that he was supporting me, and for real, just like giving me advice. Like aside from like the cool things he did, the biggest thing that he did was just help give me advice and put things in perspective for me and stuff.
When did you feel ready?
I think with this new album, like making the album that just came out,
Pink is Better,
yeah. Making Pink is Better, it was the first time where I just felt so like this is me. Like I'm not using my voice in a way that I don't really talk as a person. I'm not like trying to impress anybody. It was the first time, and especially releasing it, it's the first time where I feel like I can be as big as I want to be while being me. Before, I was a teenager, so it felt before I had to like create a superhero. Like I had to create people like this shock. They like how I rap like this. Like I was creating this, like I had to put the cape on them and the mask on them. And like the superhero that like people, and I was still honest in like my songs, but when it came to like the singles and like shocking people, and that has helped me. Like I'm grateful for those days, but now it's like, okay, people know who I am. Like people know certain things about me, and now it's time to like really show people why I'm here, because I'm actually not here, whether you know it or not. I'm not here because I can rhyme well. I'm here because of like my heart and my faith and my love for music and my love for words and writing and expression. That's why I'm actually here. So now I just want to make sure people know that, like I know that.
Definitely. I respect that. I think, this is your major label debut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about signing to Atlantic Records in 2020 and that whole process. Because I'm sure you had label offers before that.
Yeah, I had label offers from the jump. Atlantic, the reason I chose Atlantic is just because I felt like their goals lined up with mine, and like I could have. I'm in a very blessed situation that I don't need to sign. Like I have, my catalog is still mine. I have a fan base that, you know, I'm cool. You know, I made a living. I made it. You
How
know,
much were you streaming before you signed?
I was definitely, well, you know, I was definitely making enough to the label didn't I still, you know, I was streaming a good amount, and I was selling tickets. Like I have a big touring base, like I can do that. I'm just lucky to have a fan base like that. Like I for real just, I'm lucky. So money was never made me make a decision. I made the decision with Atlantic because I felt like our goals lined up the same, and I just feel like if I didn't try the major label shit, if I didn't at least try it, I would regret it.
Right.
And I know that like my potential is to be a huge artist. Like my potential, I've always been a leader like my whole life. Whether people like, you know, whether I was a different one, like I was different, but people were still like, I always attracted people. And I always knew I was just meant to do something different. And you know, I never expected like the label, even now, like I don't expect the label to like blow me up. I still need to blow myself up. But the reason I sign is because when I blow myself up, I think that they're going to know how to handle that. Like a team is going to know how to handle that crazy shit more than like me.
Right. I actually interviewed Tony Romiti. Do you know who that is?
No.
She's an artist too, but I had her on my show, Shirley's Temple. She said she was making over $50K a month as an independent artist.
Yeah.
She ended up signing just for the same reason. Like she was like, if I don't, I'm gonna regret it. Because
Yeah.
back then it's like that was like the thing to do, to sign.
Yeah. No,
right?
I'm just lucky to have the fans I have, and that they come to the shows and they buy my stuff. And I did not, trust me, I did not sign for the money. I had bigger offers. I had, you know, I'm not used to giving out cuts, you know. I mean, I am to like some people, but that was, you know, that was a pill to swallow. Like they get a percentage of some, but like it's just not about the money to me. I don't give a fuck about the money. I've made enough money and I've had enough fame to know that that's not what makes me happy. What makes me the most happy is like making a song and being proud of it. And then what really with this new album that like has really changed is that when people are a fan of a song that I feel like is truly me, like that's me, like that's my heart, and they're like, I love this song. That feels so much better than like millions of views on a video that like, that's not me. Like when I'm spaz rapping and I'm like angry at the camera, that's not me. Like talking to me when I'm like sad or something, I'm not like, I don't look like this. Like it's not, this is not me. It was a character that people loved, and like, so I did it for them. Now I'm doing shit for me. And now I think it's important enough and it's great enough that like, you know, people will appreciate just me.
1000%. So let's get into Pink is Better. I know you've probably talked about this in a lot of interviews, but what is the meaning behind the title?
Yeah, Pink just it represents a bunch of stuff, but the biggest thing that it represents in the album is balance. And like the album is really themed about just balance. Like over like the last 2 years, I tend to like, my whole life I've really like lived in extremes. Like I'm a very like extreme person in whatever I do, and it is like part of the reason I made it as far as I did, because I just work hard. I can obsess over things, but that can be for anything, you know. And throughout this last like 2 years of making this album, like the biggest thing in my life has been being a little too extreme, and like this red hot temptation, like girls and parties and like fun shit. That side where like I never really got to live that life as a kid because I was focused on my career, and I was like just not even a popping kid like that. So this last 2 years I like, you know, like really had been down that red fast life type shit. And then on the other side, it was like a bounce back from like waking up from that, and for real, just like feeling like defeated sometimes, and like wondering like, like am I even supposed to be here? And like, so that side, like probably the lowest lows I've had since I was a kid over these past 2 years, and that's like the white side. That's like the white flag side, like giving up. And this last 2 years has been like I've been there, and keep bouncing back and forth. That's what it's felt like. So pink is better just because the balance is better, because I still want to have fun. It's not like I don't want to allow myself to drink. I don't want to allow myself to have, everything. I enjoy having, I still want to have fun. And so pieces of that is good. And then pieces of being in touch emotionally is good too. But I can just be quick to over obsess on it. So this pink is better is like just a story of me learning to find the goods from both sides, and being healthy. It's really an album about health, physical health, mental health, like, yeah.